Ashe, and welcome to another special episode of our Mandatory Mental Liberation series, produced by our esteemed elder Baba Jelani Bamani Dembe, the brilliant founder of Majestic Mind Matters University. I'm your royal narrator, Queen Magical Melanin, for this new episode. The necessity of the Mandatory Mental Liberation series at Majestic Mind Matters University lies in our focus on serving our melanin-rich culture nation. By addressing the importance of knowledge of self to produce greater self-awareness and advocating for our mental liberation, especially for our precious melanin-rich culture children, our messages aim to combat the enduring effects of generational mental enslavement stemming from the historical trauma of the chattel enslavement of the ancestors. Our initiative seeks to empower us to break free from these harmful and unfavorable legacies and cultivate a deep-rooted sense of self-identity and unwavering resilience. In a world where words carry weight, these terms hold a history of oppression and discrimination. Our melanin-rich culture nation has not given up on the fight for liberation. We know that terms like black or brown people, people of color, perpetuate stereotypes and homogenize our melanin-rich culture people. In this message, it will only be used to maintain clarity for those who are not yet up to our melanin-rich culture standards. By embracing indigenous terms like Alkebulan, this name means mother of mankind, in various African languages such as Akuyu, Swahili, and Kemet, referring to ancient Egypt, and rejecting the terms Africa or African, these oppressive terms, which are unknown to many, we are reclaiming our melanin-rich culture narratives and asserting our royal cultural pride. Our melanin-rich culture nation uses terms like chattel enslavement instead of slavery, and the enslavers rather than masters, to highlight the brutal and dehumanizing nature of historical and systemic oppression. The term chattel enslavement emphasizes the objectification of the ancestors as property, rather than acknowledging them as humans. Referring to oppressors as the enslavers instead of masters shifts the focus to the injustice and violence perpetrated by those in power. These terms accurately reflect the systemic exploitation and inhumanity faced by our melanin-rich culture communities throughout history, challenging traditional narratives that downplay the severity of these atrocities. Knowing the power of language in shaping global societal perceptions and challenging systemic racism is our first step to true liberation. Now, let's get started with this very special message titled, Understanding Discrimination Dynamics, the Jane Elliot Study. It is crucial for our melanin-rich people to know about Jane Elliot and her groundbreaking experiment because it sheds light on the power of discrimination and prejudice in shaping our behaviors and perceptions. The experiment conducted by Elliot in the 1960s, known as the blue eyes/brown eyes exercise, demonstrates how easily individuals can be influenced by societal norms and prejudices, leading to harmful consequences for those perceived as inferior. As the experiment progressed, the blue-eyed students, who were designated as the superior group, began to exhibit behaviors of arrogance, bossiness, and overall unpleasantness towards their brown-eyed classmates. This shift in behavior was a direct result of the privilege bestowed upon them by being labeled as superior, leading them to believe they were inherently better than their peers. This behavior change not only affected how they treated their classmates, but also had a direct impact on their academic performance, with their grades actually improving as a result of their perceived superiority. On the other hand, the brown-eyed students, who were labeled as inferior, experienced a drastic change in behavior as well. They became timid, submissive, and isolated themselves during recess, likely as a result of the discrimination and mistreatment they faced from their blue-eyed counterparts. This change in behavior showcases the detrimental effects of being labeled as inferior and the impact it can have on one's self-esteem and confidence. By understanding the findings of Elliot's experiment, our melanin-rich people can gain insight into the insidious nature of discrimination and prejudice and how it can shape our perceptions and behaviors towards others. It is crucial for us to recognize the power dynamics at play in society and how they can influence our interactions with others, especially those who are perceived as different or inferior. Moreover, knowing about Jane Elliot and her experiment can also serve as a cautionary tale for our melanin-rich people. It highlights the importance of challenging and dismantling harmful stereotypes and biases that perpetuate inequality and mistreatment of marginalized groups. By being aware of the potential consequences of discrimination and prejudice, we can actively work towards promoting inclusivity, equality, and understanding within our communities. Furthermore, understanding the impact of discrimination and prejudice on individuals can also help our melanin-rich people empathize with those who have experienced similar forms of mistreatment. By recognizing the harmful effects of labeling and categorizing individuals based on superficial characteristics, we can strive towards creating a more compassionate society where we are valued and respected for who we are. It is crucial for our melanin-rich people to know about Jane Elliot and her experiment because it provides valuable insights into the power of discrimination and prejudice in shaping our behaviors and perceptions. By understanding the dynamics at play in Elliot's experiment, we gain a deeper understanding of the impact of societal norms and biases on our interactions with white people. This knowledge empowers us to challenge harmful stereotypes and work towards building a more inequitable society for us as well. As members of a melanin-rich community, it is crucial for us to be familiar with the work of Jane Elliot and her eye-opening experiments on racism and discrimination. Elliot's work directly addresses the systemic issues that exist in white society and shines a light on the harmful effects of prejudice and discrimination. By understanding and learning from her experiments, we will become better equipped to recognize and combat racism in all its forms. Jane Elliot's Blue Eyes/Brown Eyes exercise is a powerful demonstration of the impact of discrimination and racism on us. By separating students based on their eye color and treating one group as inferior, she was able to show how quickly prejudice and discrimination can take hold and influence personal interactions and behaviors. This exercise serves as a stark reminder of the power of social conditioning and the damaging effects of discrimination on us. By familiarizing ourselves with Elliot's work, we gain valuable insights into the ways in which systemic racism, unconscious bias, and privilege operate in our melanin-rich culture society. Her experiments help us to better understand how racism is perpetuated and internalized, and how we should work together to dismantle these harmful systems. By recognizing the ways in which racism manifests in our melanin-rich culture society, we begin to address these issues and work towards creating a more just and equitable society for us as well. Elliot's work also highlights the importance of actively challenging racism and discrimination. Her experiments show us that prejudice and discrimination are learned behaviors that can be unlearned through education and awareness. By actively challenging racist beliefs and behaviors, we begin to create a more welcoming society for us as well, regardless of race or ethnicity. Furthermore, Elliot's work serves as a powerful reminder of the need for solidarity within our melanin-rich culture communities. By coming together to address the systemic issues of racism and discrimination, we work towards creating a more equitable society for us as well. By standing together and supporting one another in our efforts to combat racism, we create meaningful change and make a positive impact on society. In addition, Elliot's work emphasizes the importance of empathy and understanding in combating racism. Her experiments demonstrate how easily white individuals can be influenced by societal norms and prejudices, and the importance of stepping into the shoes of others to gain a deeper understanding of their experiences. By practicing empathy and actively listening to the experiences of others, we begin to build connections and bridge divides within our own melanin-rich culture communities. Overall, it is crucial for our melanin-rich culture community to be familiar with the work of Jane Elliot and her experiments on racism and discrimination. By understanding and learning from her work, we can gain valuable insights into the systemic issues that exist in our society and become better equipped to recognize and combat racism in all its forms. Through education, awareness, and solidarity, we can work towards creating a more just and equitable society for all individuals, regardless of their race or ethnicity. Jane Elliot's work serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of actively challenging racism and discrimination, and the need for unity within our community in order to create meaningful change. As members of a melanin-rich community, it is crucial for us to understand the importance of educating others about the impact of prejudice and discrimination. One powerful way to do this is by sharing the knowledge gained from Jane Elliot's experiments with our melanin-rich culture friends, family, and colleagues. By spreading awareness about the lasting effects of racism and discrimination, we will help others understand the harmful consequences of white people's actions and words. This education is essential in creating a more empathetic and understanding society where we are treated with respect and dignity. Moreover, we must also be willing to speak up against stereotypes and discriminatory comments or actions when encountered in everyday interactions. Since we have experienced firsthand the effects of prejudice, we have a unique perspective and our voice must be used to advocate for equality and justice. By challenging harmful beliefs and behaviors, we are actively working towards creating a more equitable society for us as well. Supporting anti-racism initiatives is another crucial step in combating prejudice and discrimination. By participating in or supporting organizations and movements that actively work towards dismantling systems of oppression, we contribute to creating a more just and equal society for us as well. It is important for us to stand in solidarity with our marginalized communities and actively work towards dismantling systems of oppression that perpetuate inequality. Engaging in dialogue about race, privilege, and bias is also essential in fostering understanding and promoting empathy. By initiating conversations with white people, we will create a space for open and honest discussions about important issues related to prejudice and discrimination. These conversations are necessary for fostering understanding and challenging harmful beliefs and practices that perpetuate inequality. Advocating for equal practices is yet another important way in which we will challenge prejudice and discrimination in society. By encouraging organizations, institutions, and communities to adopt policies and practices that promote inclusion, we will create a more equitable and welcoming environment for us as well. It is important for us to push for change and advocate for spaces that are welcoming for us as, regardless of race or ethnicity. Examining our own biases is also a crucial step in challenging prejudice and discrimination. It is important for us to reflect on our own knowledge, attitudes, and behaviors to identify and address any prejudices that may exist within ourselves. By taking the time to reflect on our own biases, we work towards becoming more empathetic and understanding our own melanin-rich culture people who are actively working towards creating a more just and equal society for us as well. Taking action is perhaps the most important step in challenging prejudice and discrimination. By actively getting involved in activism, advocacy, and allyship efforts, we are working towards dismantling systems of oppression and promoting equality for us as well. It is important for us to use our melanin-rich voices and actions to create positive change in the world and challenge harmful beliefs and practices that perpetuate inequality. In conclusion, by actively applying the lessons learned from Jane Elliot's experiments, members of our melanin-rich culture community can play a crucial role in challenging prejudice and discrimination in everyday life. Through educating white people, speaking up, supporting anti-racism initiatives, engaging in dialogue, advocating for equal practices, examining our own biases, standing in solidarity, amplifying our melanin-rich voices, and taking action, we will work towards creating a more just and equitable society for us as well. It is essential for us to use our melanin-rich voices and actions to challenge harmful beliefs and practices that perpetuate inequality and to work towards creating a more welcoming society for us as well. I'm your royal narrator, Queen Magical Melanin. We trust that this special message has expanded your understanding through the insights shared by our highly esteemed producer, Elder Baba Jelani Bomani Dembe, founder of Majestic Mind Matters University, in our Mandatory Mental Liberation Series special message. Remember this, it is essential to honor the ancestors. We have a unique connection to the ancestors. They endured many unwarranted struggles, preserved our melanin-rich culture, and passed down invaluable wisdom through many generations. By honoring the ancestors, we pay honorable tribute to our roots and draw great strength and much-needed inspiration from the unwavering resilience and royal legacy that has paved the way for our present and future generations. Ancestral reverence is a powerful way for us to continually uphold our own melanin-rich identity, heritage, and cultural legacy. Here is an ancient Alkebulan proverb to keep in mind. If you think you are too small to make a difference, you have not spent the night with a mosquito. Remember this as well. Whenever you are in the presence of anyone saying, "They don't see color," it actually means, "They don't see you." We recognize that the name Alkebulan, instead of Africa, as a royal member of our melanin-rich culture nation, we must strive for knowledge of self for greater personal awareness. Always treat yourself kindly and seek to live a totally awesome and gloriously fulfilling melanin-rich culture life. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. So, like, subscribe to stay updated, and share this very special melanin-rich culture link with everyone that you care about and that really cares about you and all of yours as well. And thank you for listening to this enchanting special message titled Understanding Discrimination Dynamics, the Jane Elliot Study. Stay woke. Ashe.